I became interested in yoga, in particular, devotional yoga, when I was about 15. And this was sort of, the time that George Harrison was doing My Sweet Lord. And there were books coming, Ram Dass with his book Be Here Now. That came a little bit later. But there was things on vegetarianism, and I was kind of getting into that whole thing. Well, after I made my first million, you kind of don't know what to do with yourself, because working every day isn't an absolute necessity. So my nephew came to my house when I was very much into yoga, and I wore Indian clothes and had the tilak on my forehead and would meditate every morning. He said, "You don't believe in all this. You're just fucking bored." I became very, with the zeal of the neophyte, I was very offended. "No, I absolutely believe in this. This is my religion. This is what I am. I'm a devotee." And I'm okay. But I thought about that for a long time. Do you really believe in this? Do you really think, as Shakespeare said, there is more to heaven and earth than you have dreamt of in your philosophies, Horatio? Is this just the tip of the iceberg of existence, and the greater part of our being is not to be seen? So I explored that by going to India. And I went to a little town in Uttar Pradesh where Krishna came from, called Vrndavana, with my wife. By this time, we had taken a spiritual master, or had gone under the tutelage, I think is a more appropriate way of saying it, of a spiritual master called Mangal Maharaj. And now I was called Jagannath Das, and Brenda was called Vrinda. And we went to Vrndavana. And one morning, we took a walk down by the Yamuna River. But for some reason, I don't know anything about rivers, there wasn't hardly any water in it. So what there was this vast expanse of riverbed, and then the sand on the shore, the beach kind of thing. And there were very few people there. Now, one of the things that I had thought about doing, because I'm always book thinking, this could be a great book, that could be a great book. And I was in India, I had a great camera, and I was photographing yogis. So I thought, I'll photograph them maybe down the road, because I had done already 11 coffee table books. I knew everybody in New York. Maybe I'll do a yogi thing. So we've all heard the stories about yogis and their supernatural powers and so forth. I saw a very gentlemanly yogi, whose photograph you can see now, walking towards me. Very distinguished, very erudite. His clothes were old and worn, but not dirty, just a little bit ragged. But he had a kind of, I don't know, a proud look. That's not the right word, but we won't fumble around for it for the purposes of this video. He had an air of aristocracy about him, without the ego, just like a very unusual guy. And he got up to me about 2 feet away. Didn't say a word, but looked at me with his beautiful brown eyes. Now, my wife was behind me. I mean, literally just behind me, almost touching my shoulder. And I had the camera. I said, "Baba," which means father. It's a sort of generic term for speaking to holy men in India. "Baba, may I take your picture?" And he went like that. And I snapped the picture. And on the memory of my good wife, Vrinda Devi, I tell you not a word of a lie, that man disappeared, dematerialized. Nobody had taken any drugs. We were teetotaling devotees. But this yogi, exactly like Barbara Eden in I Dream of Jeannie, was gone. Just gone. Now, when something of that nature happens, your mind is going to try to make a logical explanation for it. So we thought, did he go here? No, there's nowhere for him to run. There was nothing to hide behind, not a rock, not a hole. So I saw, which is an unusual thing to put it in that way, I saw somebody disappear. I saw somebody, and so did my wife. And she said, did you see that? And I said, yes. Now the picture came out perfectly, as I've shown you. And that's my story of seeing an old yogi disappear, or dematerialize, I think is more appropriate, before my very eyes in Vrndavana on the banks of the Yamuna River, thus proving that there may be more than just the tip of the iceberg to our existence.